Everybody, it's Pandy and I'm playing World of Tanks. I want to throw down a shout out to Spoon Man for the intro he did for my Q&A. I forgot to mention him in the video, so I wanted to give him due credit. He does voiceovers, he does stuff like that. He does everything related to his voice. His voice is his job. He just talks and he gets the job done. So shout out to Spoon Man. He is the boss in regards to manipulating his voice. He even made like an 18 thing for relic, so it's just kind of awesome that he just has that golden voice. Just The next and last shout out now goes to Kim Trin Sim, or however you say her name. She dropped a comment into my channel asking if we can sub each other, basically so we can, if I had to guess, share some subs with each other. Well, I'm going to do one better. I'm gonna make a fool of myself in one of my videos mentioning your pretty face. No man can say they can't help watch a lady put on makeup, so check her channel out. I'll throw a link up on the video so you guys can check her out. And pretty woman, if you are watching this video because I mentioned you, hook me up with some digits so I can pick you up some dinner when I'm around your neck of the woods. Probably somewhere in Canada, I think, maybe. I don't know. Just let me know. That's what's up. Now this video is going to be about the AMX 1390. For the purpose of the video, I'm going to do the whole history of the AMX 13. Development and design work for the AMX 13 started out to be a tank destroyer / reconnaissance vehicle. Later in development, the AMX 13 was modified to be a true light tank within its limits. The most important feature on the AMX 13 was its 5-gale 2-part oscillating turret. The main gun was fixed to the upper half of the turret to allow for elevation and depression of the gun, while the lower pivot point was the turret as a whole. Basically, it was a 2-part escalating turret design, and because of this design, it allowed for the adoption of a revolver loading system where a magazine can hold up to 6 rounds. The main gun on the AMX 13 was to be the 75mm Camel with a single muzzle brake. The gun's rate of fire was supposed to be 1 round every 5 seconds with the dual 6-round magazines, and once those magazines ran dry, the reload took place outside of the tank, far away from the line. So the theory is you fire 12 rounds over a rate of fire of 1 round per 5 seconds, and then you ran like a little bitch, reloaded, and ran right back. At least I think that's the theory. I don't know. Ask the French. In the mid-60s, the AMX 13 was retrofitted with a 90mm and 105mm main guns. All French Army AMX 13s were retrofitted with this 90mm by the early 70s. The French developed the 105mm purely for export purposes to countries that might want it and might not want it. Whoever needed a more powerful gun for the AMX 13 fleets had an option to get it, and I think only one country took them up on it, which was Argentina. The AMX 13 was exported to many upon many countries depending on their needs. It came with a diesel or gasoline power plant and a 5-speed transmission. Production ceased in the 80s, however the AMX 13 remained as a good choice for many armies that just simply were too small but needed a proven tank design for their usage. And when I mean usage, they can set it up in a number of ways. You can have an APC, you can have air defense, you can have armored recovery, or even a self-propelled howitzer, or maybe even a tank. Who knows? What do you need? What do you need? There's many designs and variants of the AMX 13, so I'm not going to get into them, but if you needed a universal tank, the AMX 13 was that universal tank. It can be adapted to anything that you need it to be. The 3 major operators of the AMX 13 currently in service right now is Indonesia, Mexico, and Singapore. France and Israel also used the light tank in combat service, but primarily as a reconnaissance vehicle at that point. There's no major combat service stories that I've actually found about this tank, but I just know that it fulfilled its role and it pretty much did what it's supposed to do, reconnaissance as a light tank. Within World of Tanks, the AMX 1390 is the best light tank of the game. The firepower on the 1390 is the bomb. The 90mm allows you to openly target many upon many targets on the field of battle. Of course, it reminds me a lot of the 90mm that you'll see on the T20, but when it comes to the differences, is the 1390 comes out with a big burst of damage, while the T20 has a more consistent rate of fire. I would have liked if Wargaming would have left the depression alone on this tank, but that's just me. If you have any enemy tanks that are on a higher position compared to you at short range, you have no ability to engage them. You either have to be sniping from long range, or you need to run up on them to allow you to engage them. It's pretty good at dropping the damage onto a lot of targets and allows you a more neutral biatch. You know, you run in there, shoot them up, run the fuck out, gives you the ability to target tier 8 heavies and tier 9 mediums with ease. Now the armor on the 1390 does not exist, so one thing that I will say about this tank is they should have never nerfed the hit points on it. Yeah, it had the least amount of armor, had the least amount of hit points. Let's go ahead and nerf the hit points because everyone whined. I don't understand why they did this. I have no idea, but when it comes down to it, you can get 2-shotted by a tier 8 if you're lucky, maybe 3-shotted by a tier 7, so it's really unbalanced in regards to how many shots it can take, because any shots sent your way, chances is going to go straight through. I've had some lucky chances of deflecting rounds, but that's a very luck, very bad angles on their part. I should have been dead, but yeah. We'll roll with that. The mobility on the AMX 1390 is the major strength of the tank. Nothing can move like it unless it's 50-2, but it can haul ass wherever it was going, and it can go up to about 60 kilometers an hour without any issues. It can outrun many upon many tanks just purely because of this mobility, and when it comes to having much tighter turns, it's pretty good at just making tight turns in general. But if you want very extreme turns, just release the forward button for a brief moment, and once you're in the angle that you want to go, hit that forward button again. It's a really outstanding tank when it comes to mobility overall, just purely because it can get the A to B, get around people, maybe go through them a little bit with time, space, travel thing. Okay, that'd be a little OP and it should be reserved for the Russians tanks, but it can get around pretty easily. The AMX 1390 is the best motherfucking light tank in the game. Just ignoring the armor, the AMX 1390 has very good firepower and mobility. You can take that gun anywhere that you need it and push some shit in if you get too close to them. I would sometimes just rush to the front and wait for the bad guys to make a mistake, especially if I'm on the very top level of the game in regards to matchmaking. However, if I get stuck into a tier 10 room and I'm near the bottom, I would actually sit tight for a little while and protect Artie for that moment. Light tanks that break through the line, which they always break through the line, I would actually go after them until they're dead, just so that I can protect Artie, keep the Artie in the game so Artie can keep doing what they do best, which is blowing shit up. As soon as about 3 to 5 minutes into the match goes through, about 6 to 10 people will be dead on both teams combined, so that will give you some more breathing room to be able to maneuver and fire and move again. All in all, it's a very good light tank when it does what it does, but it's underpowered because it doesn't simply have enough hit points and no armor to boot. So I feel as though that the tank is missing something. It doesn't have enough oomph to be able to get in there and maybe survive an engagement. Chances is you're gonna die in most engagements, so it just feels as though the tank is not balanced. It doesn't have the ability to withstand battle conditions unless you are extremely lucky. All in all, it's a fun tank to dick around with. It is a keeper. It's just keep in mind the tank is unbalanced. It focuses a lot on mobility and firepower, but nothing related to survivability. So just keep that in mind when you get it. Play as though you are going to be a little pussy. You might have to sit out a lot of rounds in regards to sitting in your base and camping for 5 to 10 minutes before you become effective. But yeah, that's all I can think of. Snipe a lot, run in there when you got to. So that's all I got. So I get to the part of the video where I get to give away some more of the tank's gold. This time I was given some more options in regards to how I can do this because of the charity event. Today, or this week, I'm going to be giving away 2,000 gold and 2 million credits to a lucky winner on the North American or European Union server. To win said golden credits, you must be A, be subscribed to my channel, and B, post a comment down below maybe about the video question, which is, do you think French tanks should get a hit point buff or stick with the status quo? I think the French tanks should go back to the level of hit points that they had before the nerf. I can partly understand the nerfs, but god damn it, why do you have to nerf everything war gaming? Why you have to do that? Give us back depression or give us back hit points. And I know you're not going to give us back our depression because you guys are assholes like that and everyone will bitch about it. And so I can understand the PR side of it. So go ahead and give us back our hit points. We already have the lowest amount of hit points of any of the tiers before the nerf. It's gotten so low that it's gotten to a point where my AMX 50B only has 50 hit points or 70 hit points or 150 hit points more than the German tier 9 heavies or tier 9 medium. It's that fucking bad. So just give us back our hit points so we can at least survive a couple shots, maybe even one additional shot, and leave us the fuck alone because Just give us some hit points, god damn it. Leave everything else. I can understand everything else. Just leave the hit points. Just give it back. Please, please. I'm asking. Please, please. You guys take it easy. I'm Pandy. And good hunting.